I had to scrap the whole idea. Like a ton of money was lost. The rapport with my partner was lost. And my dream was really, really, really on life support. So I'm taking a long pause because it hurt. It really hurt.
Hey, trendies, trendsetters, and my trendy tribe. The Aesthete Noire came back so we could do some trend talk takeaways. And I have a couple of questions for her that are like a follow up. We just wanted to ask, get a well rounded interview. And so I hope you enjoy this segment as well. And please watch the first segment where Auntie Aesthete is on camera sharing some great advice. She also goes into a question and answer session with the trendies. All right, the Aesthete Noire. Here's your first question. How did you get your first client?
I obtained my first client through word of mouth. I told everyone who would listen, friends, family, people at the grocery store, people at the dry cleaners, anyone that would listen. I invited them to come and patronize my business. And through that word of mouth, I was able to obtain my first client.
Thank you. And just so we are on the same page, because you do have multiple businesses, was this for your tax business or was this for a different business?
This was for my wellness center, for my property management, because we own a lot of real estate too. So we do property management, and we're over other people's property as well. It was for my tax service. It was for my husband's auto broker business. It was for everything except for our youth services. We work with DFACS, Department of Children and Family Services, for our group home. So that is a whole separate entity that we can't do word of mouth. We just have to be part of that community.
How has business been these last few months?
That's a really good question. For the Preservation Noire, which is our property preservation, it's been thriving. We got on the list, we hit the ground running, and we are doing something literally every single day. For property management, it's in a even keel flow because we're fully booked with our tenants. So it's just regular work order and property maintenance issues. The auto brokerage, it's kind of in a lull because summertime people really aren't buying cars. They're traveling and doing other things. So they're not really concerned about transportation. My brand new baby, the Wellness Noire, my wellness center, it's brand new. So it's very sporadic. Some weekends we're booked, other weekends, crickets. So it just depends on which business. And then the tax business, there's always something going on. So that's pretty even keel. It's always a steady flow of activity.
This one is probably going to be one of the very important ones to a lot of people that are trying to start their own business or take it to the next level. But how did you get funded, or where did you find funding?
Oh, good question. Most of my funding is self-funded by myself and my husband, who is always my financial backer. I do, however, work with the Rice Center, which is a center here in Atlanta by the Russell family, very prominent family that created an entrepreneurial innovation center that provides funding. You just have to sign up with them and get on their programs. And with them, you can borrow or even be granted funds based on what revenue you generate. You just have to show that activity. So you need at least 6 months of activity, and they will, within reason, match what your revenue is in the bank, that stays in the bank. So you can't really touch that money because you want to be able to build up enough history to say that I'm sustainable for them to match your funds. So primarily, like I said, self-funded, and the Rice Center here in Atlanta.
Thank you. And just to ask you, we did ask this in our first segment, but if you can recall, can you give one or two suggestions for a generally local resource for people in different states?
Oh, yes. Yes, absolutely. I would start with the U.S. Small Business Administration. And I think their website is sba.org or sba.gov. They have things like seminars, workshops. They even have like financial checklists for you to kind of get your house in order to be able to apply for the loans, the grants, or have access to their angel investors or their venture capitalists for funding. Another resource is your local chamber of commerce. They have a wide array of resources from workshops, volunteerism, mentorship, and loans and grants listings that you can garner from them. Another resource is your local urban league. You can go to the nationalurbanleague.org. I think that's their website, or nationalurbanleague.com, and filter down to find one in your local area. That facility has a specific segment for entrepreneurs that connects entrepreneurs to, again, a gamut of resources. And I think that's it: SBA, Urban League, and your local Chamber of Commerce.
When were you able to see a profit for your business?
Not right away. If you think that you're going to get money as a profit and not have to reinvest it or kind of minimize your expenses, then you're in the wrong headspace. For me, my profit margins kind of vary in terms of when I actually can say I'm in the black. And for most of the businesses, it was well into that 18 to 24 month range.
I think that's realistic and needed, because I think many people can get discouraged within the first 6 months of not seeing a profit. So that's thank you. That's very realistic.
You're welcome. There's been plenty of times where everyone else was paid but us. So you have to keep pushing though. But
Yes,
you will get there. Again, the consistency. You will see a profit, but you have to just stay the course.
I agree. I agree. How do you budget your business funds, like your marketing, staffing, products, or services?
Allocation is key. I write out all of my expenses, all of the goals of the business, and then I work backwards. I know that if I have to get more foot traffic, then I'll allocate, a larger component towards the marketing, which, that might be the social media branding, hiring, people to do literally that marketing where they're making calls, they're sending out emails, we're buying leads. Um, I'm hiring people who are social media managers who can market stuff for me because I don't know how to do all of that. And then again, just word of mouth. And that's it for the marketing component. The other aspects are for me, because I have a lot of brick and mortars, paying the essentials, meaning the staff, because you got to have people to execute your dream, the mortgages for the properties, the insurance. Insurance is a major component that you cannot miss. If you don't pay anything else, make sure that you keep your insurance and your licenses up to date, current, and paid in full. That's it. The marketing, the staffing, and the mortgages.
As just to add what's going on here, I definitely am keeping up insurance for the future of our property preservation business. It's not being currently used, but I do agree that it should stay up to date. And I think the longevity of having licenses, insurance, and things goes a long way as well. So I definitely, I'm taking that in from you right now as well.
And any taxes that you have to pay. So if you have to pay your sales and use tax
Mm-hmm.
to your local state, keep that up. Mostly, like here in Georgia, sales and use tax is due on the 20th of the month. And even if you don't generate any revenue, you can file a zero return, which is
Mm-hmm.
really easy. You can call the state, Secretary of State, and they will walk you through how to file a zero return. But make sure you keep up with all of your compliance things too when it comes to your insurance and your license and your taxes.
And this is a little bit of a segue because you did mention in your marketing budget about social media. Can you name just one or two ways you specifically use social media to grow your business exposure?
Yes, I have a videographer who is wonderful with social media, and it's just a set fee that I pay every month for him to produce two high quality videos for me to put on Instagram and YouTube. I'm trying to figure out this YouTube component yet, so I haven't been able to load it up yet. And Facebook, and then the Google pages, the Google, like when you do a Google search for my name and my property names or my business names,
Mm-hmm.
it will generate all of that social media activity for me. I keep my website up to date too with a lot of current information. We're getting ready to load those videos on there as well. My social media videographer handles all of those high quality needs because you only have that 1 5 second gap to capture someone's attention, and you want to produce the best quality as possible.
I agree. What is your biggest loss, failure, or setback, and what did you learn from that experience?
For the Wellness Noir, my setback was initially I was going to be in a medical facility right before launch. Everything just went to hell. I had to pull the plug about 3 weeks prior to launching, and I had to scrap the whole idea. Like a ton of money was lost. The rapport with my partner was lost, and my dream was really, really, really on life support. So I'm taking a long pause because it hurt. It really hurt.
Understandable.
Yeah, I didn't know how I was going to recover. So I sat still. I really sat still and had a lot of conversations with God about, is this what I'm supposed to do? Is this my purpose? And if so, direct me and lead me, show me how, because I feel defeated. And in sitting still, it wasn't an immediate answer, which kind of, caused more anxiety. But I continued to just sit in his word and know what his promise was to me. And when the time was right, because I had eliminated all of the distractions so that I could clearly hear God, and he said, okay, now you're ready. If you take the first step, I'll clear your path. And I was obedient to that. And when I heard that, literally 6 weeks from him making that promise to me, I was able to do my reveal. And 2 months from the reveal party, I was able to do a ribbon cutting ceremony. So that was my loss that really, 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 really like took me aback in so many ways. But God is faithful and I'm here.
Yes, and I was able to experience your Wellness Noir Center, and it is amazing. Also, Chef Don Don was able to experience it as well. And then, of course, I know with your ribbon cutting, there were even more people that were able to experience, and it was definitely, from our outside looking in, well worth the wait. I'm going to ask you a follow-up question about when you said that you clearly heard God, like if you take the first step, I got you. When you had to take that first step, once you were peaceful and quiet and just waiting in the waiting phase, when you did get that answer, what I do wonder is, did you have to communicate like to your husband that I know now is the time that I need to go ahead and take that step now? Because obviously we all have our personal relationships and everything. So, or like with like our personal spiritual relationships, and then also we try to make sure we're on the same step as our partners. So how was that conversation with him when you got the answers you were seeking?
Honestly, it surprised me because my husband was like, I've been waiting for you to move. He has always championed for me in every way. So it was a very easy conversation. He's very confident in what I do and how I move. He is very confident in my relationship with God as I am with his relationship with God. So where I thought it would have been a little hesitation, a little pushback, it was not. He was, like he said, he was waiting for me to move.
That's beautiful. That goes back to then a strong foundation in the first place. That's beautiful.
Yeah. I'm trying not to get all teary eyed now that I'm
Okay.
thinking about this because oh my gosh, God is so good.
Yes, yes. And just more confirmation that you're moving in the right way for your own path. And that's beautiful. I let me see. I'll try to get us out of, well, for now we'll transition out, but I definitely appreciate you being open about that. How do you balance your work and life as an entrepreneur?
Family and my sanity comes first. So if either side is driving me crazy, meaning my work life as my 9 to 5 or my entrepreneurial side is making me go off kilter, I will pause because if I'm not centered, everything else will reflect that. So when I feel overwhelmed, I will go into my prayer closet or walk outside, hug a tree, take a nap. I will do whatever it takes for me to find my center. But it starts with me just, taking that pause,
Mhm.
taking a deep breath, and just stopping all activity.
Do you have a mentor?
I do. I do. I have several mentors. I have a mentor who I call her my ultimate big sister, and she pours into me in terms of like my emotional stability and my I call it my ladylike posture. And then I have another mentor who has been in this corporate game probably my entire life, who just gives me just a wealth of information in terms of finance, investments, just having fortitude for that corporate game face. And then my last mentor is authors. I love to read. So I'm an avid reader. So I read constantly. I don't care if it's the back of a brochure. There's some knowledge to learn from there too. So the written form as books are my mentors as well.
Last question. What are the realities of being an entrepreneur versus the perception of being an entrepreneur?
It's not all glamorous. There's a lot of hard work, a lot of sweat, equity, sometimes tears, frustration, setbacks, but the reality is you're moving towards a goal for yourself. And eventually you'll get to live that glamorous side of entrepreneurial ship where you can set your own timeline, have as much money as you want to make, and the lifestyle that it can afford you.
All right. Well, I thank you very much for your insight and that you came back, gave us your time again to follow up. And I hope to see you back again. This has been Trend Talk Takeaways with the Aesthete Noire.
Noir Mistake.